What's up? Round two. Just waiting on Patrick. We'll make it happen here. We'll make it happen here. A lot of crazy shit going on in the news, as always, right? Mueller made a little statement today. Finally. My daughter, if you can hear The Office in the background, that's because my daughter, who thought I was so lame for watching The Office not too long ago, is now a big fan of The Office. Woot woot. What's up, Rachel? What's up, Julia? Family? How are you? Uh. So, what we're going to be talking about is Mueller, and just overall. I know, Pat. I just invited you. I don't know why this happens every single fucking time. Oh shit! But he went up on the roof. You're right. We'll see. Michael White, what's up, son? My dude. I love me some Michael White, dude. That guy. That guy's just tried and true. We need to get Michael White on the show, quite frankly. Actually, fuck. If I'll go south tonight, I'm adding Michael White. So stand by, Michael White. Gonna get you on to talk some smack, son. Pat, I have invited you. I'm just waiting for you to accept it. You've already been invited according to my screen. I can't. Let's see. Yes, you've been double invited, dude. So just waiting for you to accept it. Patrick J. Militich, my homeboy. Had some very what you guys doing, man? How the few people that are in here, the people that are in here, what's up? What are you guys thinking about tonight? We're chopping it up about Mueller, the Mueller statement today, impeachment proceedings supposedly, and then of course Bob Barr given access to declassify all this other shit about the origins of this investigation. Mm. Where could that possibly lead? There it is. There it is. Booyah, gosh. USC Hall of Famer. My boy. What's up, dude? There you
Okay,
are.
can you hear
I
me?
don't know why it becomes a pain in the ass every time to like get you linked up on here. I don't
I'm
know
out.
why. It's just,
I'm out on my covered patio now that it's not 33 below zero minus without the wind chill factor.
yeah, we definitely could hear you so much better out there, dude.
Good, good. We had a yeah. So anyway, back to building the ark.
For real, dude. I told you. I drove. I went to the store about 100 yards away, and never have to drove through like almost 1 foot, 2 feet of water. My car stalled. My little fucking Expo stalled, and I had to pull off to the. I mean, it's crazy, dude. It's
Hey,
crazy.
hey, hey! You know those safety warnings where it says "Don't drive through standing water"? Remember that?
No, but it wasn't like that, dude. There's never been dude. Like we were talking about the other day, man. 111 Colony Drive. Well, where I grew up in Davenport was hit with a flash flood the other day, and someone sent me a video of like literally like almost half foot of water. I lived there my whole life from pretty much when I was 5 till I was 19, 18. Never had seen anything like that on that road, dude. It was crazy.
Right,
It's
right.
crazy.
Yeah.
What's up, Kevin Johnson? How you
So
doing,
anyway,
brother? STL, Kevin Johnson, St. Louis Dispatch. I believe it's St. Louis Dispatch. Yeah,
oh,
cool guy.
he's working for the opposition.
No, of course not. But he's a great music aficionado, dude. This
Oh,
guy,
okay, great. Okay.
no, he's one of those guys. I mean, dude, Kevin Johnson. We don't really speak that much, but I follow him. He obviously follows here a little bit, but
So
yeah,
so he's a
cool cat,
genius
man.
musician.
I don't know if he plays music or not, but he's one of those like music reporters. He gets to interview all the musicians when they come to town, and then afterwards and
Nice.
all that other stuff. Yeah, sweet guy, dude, cool guy. Kevin Johnson, shout out. Thank you for watching, man. John
Cool, cool.
Serta. I wonder if John Serta is still not drinking. He said that like a month ago. He's like, I'm done drinking. But I don't know. If you are, you are. Beautiful.
We don't care. We still love him.
Of course. This
Even
is
if
like
he
Planet Fitness, man. This is a judgment-free zone, dude.
Don't drink in a purple bar.
Gosh,
Yeah. So anyway, um,
what's
has
going on? What's
had
going on in the world?
dude Mueller giving his testimony there real quick, huh?
He did, and I didn't catch it, man. I was kind of out of the loop, man. My beautiful youngest daughter is out of school, so my schedule's now filled up with daddy duty most of the day. So I'm kind of out of the loop, but I still dip back in to find out what's going on. But I did hear that this morning that Mueller, you know, I don't, again, to me, and I'm just going to say it's theater. It's just political theater because, he's saying a lot without saying anything. And then one side takes it to mean this means
Well,
we
that's
can
the thing.
impeach him.
I'm a little confused by how, like Michael Rappaport, the actor, lost his mind on Twitter, and I just wrote, I
He's
just
done
wrote,
that more than once. He's done
yeah,
that
I
more than
know
once.
he's losing. The left is losing its mind, but without collusion, look, we know the Russians were trying to mess with our election, but okay, what they spend 70? What was it? Somebody can quote me or find the right number, but it was like $160,000 or $70,000 on Facebook posts, right? To try and
I I
sway
didn't catch
the.
the number, but yeah.
I,
But
I'm
again,
not
we talked about this. This is what we do, what China does, what superpowers, what they do all the time.
right,
We've
right. That
been we've
doesn't
been
mean that,
fucking with
that.
elections for years.
And you and I knew from the very beginning that Trump didn't have anything to do with the Russians as far as colluding with and swaying the election. We knew that. If anybody was friends with the Russians, it was Hillary Clinton and Obama and everybody else. I mean, look at all the arms. Schiff has been now. Schiff has now been um, named potentially as one of the big players in shipping tons of weapons to the friggin' communists, Nazi, the revolutionaries over there who were killing Russian nationals, who were butchering Russian nationals, right?
It's I mean, again, it's all that kind of like, right, for me, the right left thing is kind of absurd because Trump just sold another billions or so weapons to Saudi Arabia.
Sure,
So I mean,
sure. No, I
it's
don't
just the
agree. I
machine.
don't agree with that at all. But um, in the end, is it that you're correct and that one gang family has taken out another gang family,
That's
threatening their
all it
turf?
is. That's
Is
all it
yeah,
ever is.
it could potentially be that. Look, I'm not doubting that, but what I'm saying is um, to see the media apparatus, the globalists, every leader of every nation that is we know is a globalist puppet, you know. And by the way, we're doing Agenda 21 this coming Monday night with
Yes.
potentially two experts, not just one. But
Okay.
they're all tied to that, to the climate change, to taxing the peasants to death, to implement it. What a genius plan! Make us all pay for it, and then charge us for our energy even more, even though it's a different kind of energy.
But
But
at
it's
the
but it's
at
but
no.
it's sustainable. But it's sustainable energy. I'll
But
gladly
that's
pay for
and see,
that.
and that's what we talked about, dude. They use the very fuzzy language that appeals to just basically our humanity, to our save the planet. There's nothing wrong with that, and
No,
protect your environment. I get that, but what they have done is they have pigeonholed it on this notion of CO2 and the fact that we are the problem. And okay, I just don't agree with that. And as if you listen to our episode, which is going to be dropping here tomorrow or the next day, our swap cast with myself, Pat Miletich, James Corbett, as well as Ricky Varandas, we're going to be having a very, very frank conversation on climate change and what it's really about. And I'm not even going to get into it right now because it requires
no,
a
no.
very
Let the
in-depth
let the episode
explanation.
speak for
Yeah.
itself. Let's go back. Let's go back to Let's talk about how did Trump collude, or how did he
Hi,
obstruct?
Bobo.
He couldn't have obstructed anything
See, I never
because
got too deep into the minutia of that because to me it's all super theater and it's all kind of WWE. You know what I mean?
well,
Because
but okay, but hold on,
honestly, bro, because literally, because both sides have still put it on Russia hacked the DNC. That's not what the fuck happened. And we know that's not what the fuck happened. Through digital forensics, we know it was Seth Rich. So for the fact
or
that
someone
the
or someone
machine
within or someone within the DNC.
or
Most
someone with
likely
it, but
Seth
they
Rich,
but
because
but
he
they
was the
know
one
it.
that ended up dead.
They know it wasn't an external hack. They know it wasn't a hack from coming from an online source. It
Right, it
was
was
an
thumb drive.
inside. Yeah, it was a drop of information, and they know that. So the fact that both sides have continued to double down on the fact that it was Russia that hacked, even though they might have, like you just said, done all these ads, Facebook ads, et cetera, what they're talking about specifically with the DNC was not Russia. It was a particular political operative by the name of Seth Rich who was murdered, and it kind of spirals off from there. So it pisses me off that they're throughout all of this conversation of Mueller, et cetera, no one's even brought his name up. And
But
both
wait,
sides are
but wait.
doubling down on the Russian hack thing.
So what I'm saying is the Mueller investigation, when he talks about, he talked about this was a two-part investigation. One was on Russian collusion. The other one was on obstruction, right? But there was a third tier that was missing, and that would have been the investigation on how the FISA was created, how the false dossier was created, who funded the false dossier, the DNC, Hillary Clinton, everybody else that started all this bullshit in the first place. That
And see, that's
that
that's what I was gonna say. This what happened today with Mueller is a huge, almost smoke cloud to obfuscate what you just mentioned. What they're about to go and do is research the same shit we talked about in July of 2006 or whatever it was.
we were talking
CrowdStrike.
we were talking about it before the election, weren't we?
No, of course, no. That's what I'm saying. July 2016,
Yeah.
we would already had guests on that talked about these exact very
Right,
same
right,
thing.
right, right. Yeah, yeah.
Strzok, Page, CrowdStrike,
With piles of
Fusion
of
GPS.
WikiLeaks documents.
And,
I
and
mean,
we even said, I even said, I'm like, yeah, Trump used an antiquated term of wiretapping. Not that they have a physical device wiretapping him, but they were monitoring an incoming president. And again, ladies and gentlemen, for the fuck of all good, don't make it seem like what we're saying or I'm saying is a referendum on Trump. It's not about Trump, Hillary, whatever, but the fact that there was a soft coup completely usurping the rule of law against an incoming president and then a president that should bother people, but it doesn't because they're so mad about who the fact that's president now. And which
right.
again, I'm not a Trump. It's not even about of
No,
Trump or not. It's
you've never really been a Trump supporter at all. I mean,
but no, it's not.
you've
It's not even. I mean, he's like I said. He's what it is. He's a president. He's a gangster. They're all gangsters. They might do some cool stuff here and there, but I judge a president honestly by their larger foreign policy. Foreign policy. If they give us some political footballs to kick around, that's what they do. But larger foreign policy, that's something to be talked about.
here's the thing. Um, will will the investigation by Barr, you know, start zeroing in? I'm sure that there have been numerous investigations going on since Trump became president. We know that. Huber's been out in Salt Lake City doing his investigation on the Clinton Foundation and everything else. We know that they've been investigating all the other stuff. I think that now it's just putting a fine tooth comb to it, probably. If no indictments fall, like I said before, if no indictments fall on these people, then we know we've been gamed 100% by both sides. That
And it's
Trump is
already starting to
absolutely
seem that way to me.
that Trump is absolutely the best actor we've ever seen, blowing Ronald
He's
Reagan out of the water. Right?
That's what I'm saying. He's Ronald Reagan on steroids. Why did they take Ronald Reagan? Because he was an actor. He know how to manifest the work, as we've talked about, to work people. An actor is very capable of doing that. And Donald Trump, and I'm not. It's I hate even. He's the master of the work, like we've talked about. So
Or
there
is
is a
it
lot
this?
more.
Or is it this?
I mean, like
Is Trump
Assange.
is Trump and his team waiting, letting the bleed continue until we're almost to the election, and then people start getting perp walked, and the tide changes.
Again, man, I hope porn, brother. You know,
I'm just
Mueller
saying.
was Mueller was around during 9/11, and none of that inside baseball has ever been divulged. It's still the same conversation, whether you agree with it or not. I think it was an inside job, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like it's the system protecting the system with the larger intent of, like we've said, and I've said, keeping us divided, firing off on each other on all these different aspects of how we're divided, political, racially, have and have not, sexual
Why are we?
orientation.
Why are we only? There's only a few people out there, even in podcast world, who are having this discussion.
It's hard to say. I mean, I don't really concentrate on everybody else's lane. Like I said,
No,
we
I'm just
got.
wondering
We,
though. I'm just wondering.
I'm
Are we?
with you. I'm with you. I mean, it's hard to
Look,
say, and I'm not.
either. Now I know there's a lot of people that listen to our show that agree with us, or at least say, you know what, there's an angle to that. But there's a massive number of people out there who, number one, don't have any clue about what we're saying. They've never heard this stuff before. Um, I mean, how are they going to react if perp walks start?
Yeah, exactly. And that, I mean, context, man, understanding the context of, that's why I often say, like, I'm not, if I say something about Hillary doesn't mean I like Trump. If I say something about Trump doesn't mean like I like Hillary. It's it's the grand chessboard, like Zbigniew
But I'd be
Brzezinski
willing
says,
to
man.
bet $100 you dislike Hillary more.
Because she's shown and proved over the last 40 fucking years that she is a despicable human being that at this point just reeks of urine and completely has sexual proclivities that we all don't even. I'm halfway joking, but no, I mean I don't like Hillary Clinton, but the fruits of her labor have proven me to affirm that.
Yeah,
And
right.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying with Trump. He's a New York real estate tycoon, dude. That's why I say when I use that euphemism of he's Michael Corleone at the end of Godfather and he's taking out all the old gangsters. Michael Corleone did his share of dirt. You know what I mean? He took out the chief of police at the beginning of fucking Godfather 1, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like they're
Right.
all gangsters, dude. They're all gangsters. But it's like at the end of the day, what's happening right now? Barr has this unclassified access to how the origin of the Russian, you know what I mean? The origin of the Russian investigation. Where is that going to go? What's going to happen with that? Are we really going to hear, is this theater or is this another thing that just kicks it down the road of almost like the QAnon, perp walks, Gitmo,
I
et
don't know.
cetera, et cetera?
It leads me to believe that, we talk about Trump being a gangster and taking out the other gangster family, taking over business, doing things his way, all that good stuff. But something leads me to believe that the way the Democrats are squawking like no other time in history, and a lot of corrupt GOP, that he is legitimately preparing to take down a lot of people.
Possibly.
I mean, for
Absolutely.
real, for real.
He absolutely might be doing that, but that's almost like, not that I'm like a fucking, it's dope
Well, I think
man
it's, I,
101.
I think,
Like,
I think it's,
you take down you take down the blocks that are impinging on your ability to make money.
well,
If
I
it's,
think it's important for us. I think it's important for us to at least discuss all the potential angles that could be going on. I mean, because we've had 3 or 4 different angles potentially. Trump could be the greatest actor and be part of the whole thing. I mean,
well,
we're
then
still
let's
blowing the
let's let's
shit out
talk
of
about
Yemen.
Julian Assange, then, dude. Then Julian
We're
Assange is
still
a part
selling
of
to
that.
Saudi Arabia, right? Right. We're
So what's
still
up with
selling to
Julian
Saudi
Assange?
Arabia. We're still blowing Yemen up. We've got warships, fleets, flotillas sitting off the coast of Iran. Is that going to blow up, or is that Trump fooling the globalists again, like he did in Syria when he phoned ahead and said, "Hey, get the Russians off that base," and they took the Syrians with them, and then we sent in tomahawks and blew up some runways and didn't
So
kill anybody.
let's tonight, champ. Let's tonight, whatever it is. What's the date today? May 30th, the year of our Lord 2019. What is the over under for this summer of them creating some type of false flag attack to go after Iran?
Well, they've already had, I think, in my mind, they've already had false flag attacks. I mean, there have been attacks on the
They already have,
pipelines
but
over there. They've
the full on, like, nope, this is what's triggering our intervention.
right,
You
but
know what
let
I
me
mean?
mention,
Like the Lusitania or
let me at least mention the pipelines have been attacked. There have been
For sure.
attacks on United Arab Emirates and Saudi ships, freighter ships out of the coast of United Arab Emirates. I think it was actually in one of their harbors. And then a rocket made its way into the green zone in Iraq, so or near the green zone. So those are three things. Just they had to make sure that they reported those in the news, though, just to get it out there, just to kind of lead us to believe that.
Yeah. Yes.
Right
So
now,
when it really, really happens, it's like you could say, well, they've been attacking all this shit for the last few weeks now. Like
well,
it's, you know what I mean?
like I said before, though, I mean, how many teams of military folks do you know use rebreathers or are capable of swimming out to ships and planting explosives on their hull? What level of military does it take to do that? I
I
mean,
mean, I guess
off the coast of Yemen, there in Yemen,
the
when one of
coal.
our when the USS Cole was attacked. I mean, that was just a terrorist in a boat speeding up to the ship and then detonating. Right? These were different. These were explosives that were planted on the hull of these ships. And I mean, uh, I've talked to a few guys that are capable of doing that in my years, and they're not so sure. That there's folks in the Middle East that are super
See,
capable
so,
of doing that.
so someone just posted attacks on Rachel. How you doing, Rachel? Win attacks on Israel by Hamas will bring it, which is possible once again. But that's again some inside baseball because if you go back to the beginning of Hamas, you find out who fucking started Hamas. It was the Israelis, dude. It was the Israelis as a buffer against the PLO and other Islamic groups at the time. That's what I'm saying, man. There's so much chessboard shit going on that people just like the normal folk just aren't hip to it. They're just when they react to shit, they react to shit based off of what they've been told most times by the mainstream media.
On the surface.
And
On the
but
surface.
and hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, when you listen to our conversation on climate change, we all want the world, the planet to thrive, et cetera, et cetera. But when you hear that conversation on how they've weaponized climate change, it's hardcore shit, dude, because it's next level, and they're really trying to dictate the probably next 100 years of economic development, social development. I mean, it's climate change really has nothing to do with the planet, ladies and gentlemen. I don't mean to listen to the episode that we had with James Corbett as well as Ricky Varandas and Pat and myself. And honestly, other people are having the same conversation. How, of course, the climate changes the immutable fucking law of the universe, ladies and gentlemen. But to
Yeah,
think
yeah.
that we now somehow emitting carbon while omitting things like water vapor or the cycle of the sun, it's all hinged on CO2, which what we expel as human beings CO2, and also CO2 is absolutely essential to photosynthesis. But the fact that I'm sorry, climate change has to do with eugenics. Listen to that conversation we had, and come holler at your boy.
Right. Right.
I'm
So
sorry. What's
Agenda
up,
20
Jay? Ray Gambino, my boy. I'm sorry, I just saw my boy Jason was online.
Thanos created global warming.
Who? Oh no! Did you hear? There was actually you're not familiar with the Avengers movies, are you? Okay, yeah,
No,
I
because
see
I
what you
live in
pointed.
reality.
No, that's all right. No, dude, come on, dude. I was a comic book reader, dude. This shit, I was man when I was a kid. That shit kept me. Comic books
I
back in
watched
the day.
Godzilla. I watched Godzilla and King Kong and Rodan.
Yeah,
The
they
real
have a
shit.
new one. They have a new Godzilla coming
I
out,
know.
dude, with
I know.
Mothra. It looks dope as hell. My man Taj Gall, dude. We have to have my dude Taj Gall. I didn't even really know him in my elementary school, but he did go to my elementary school. But he's been chiming in on our stuff for months, dude, and he is really on point, dude. He gets the chess game of it, man. We got
Yeah.
to have him
Yeah.
on for a quick conversation.
All right. So what's everybody going to say? Are we gonna attack Iran, or is Trump just playing games? Because they're the last country to get taken down. Right. They're the last Middle Eastern nation to get crushed.
Well, Lebanon of Wesley Clark's 5 countries in 7 years. Like, look at the ones we've all hit up.
Seven countries in 5 years. Right.
Iran definitely is one of the last ones.
Yeah. We shall see. We shall see. But I think ultimately, I think, I really am going to have a little bit of faith and believe that he's doing the white hat thing.
Are you?
Yep. Yep.
All right. Sorry to throw everybody off, but I'm urinating right now.
What is wrong with you?
Well, I didn't want to cut you off.
Just leave the phone there and just say you'll be back, and I'll
Well,
talk to everybody.
it would
Holy
have been
cow,
dark.
dude! This is real. This is real.
Real recognize real, ladies and gentlemen. We pull no punches here on the Conspiracy Farm.
It's like we're your wife. We're holding the conversation about the kids, and you're just taking a leap. This is
Fletcher's
brutal,
online. We got Fletcher Ford, the guy who's kind of spearheading our operation into the next evolution of what we're.
Kinda.
Yeah. Fletcher Ford, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Tim James. Yeah, hey, listen. Part of the whole like keeping it humble. You remember that book? Everybody poops. Everyone poops.
No.
We all urinate, dude. We all put our pants on one leg at a time. Ain't nobody better than anybody.
How you doing, buddy? Good to hear from you, man. We're having a good time over here.
That's why they love us, because we. But straight up, dude, ladies and gentlemen, we don't need more. I mean, Venezuela, we went on and did some live stuff because when Venezuela had their embassy pretty much almost invaded, violating international law, and a couple days later, when no press was there, they rolled right in there and violated U.S. law. I mean, it's just. And here we are about to go to Iran. And here we are about to do the same thing again, man, in Iran.
Hey, Ricky.
That's what I want to know. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, dude. Ricky, my dude. He held us down the other day. He was the one who helped record the conversation as well as being a participant of our conversation on climate change with James Corbett of the Corbett Report. Ricky Verandis, the Ripple Effect Podcast.com or the Ripple Effect Podcast. Good stuff, dude. He's the one who got us hooked up with Sam Tripoli and James Corbett. Like, we owe a lot to.
Yeah.
That's the thing, man. We don't do this alone.
We're going to have a hell of a lineup on the radio. But, and we won't give any details yet as far as that goes. But I will say this. I was driving home a little bit ago after filling up my truck with gas because I've got to leave for Minnesota tomorrow, Mystic Lake Casino, doing a show up there for Access TV Friday night. And while I was driving, I was listening to News Talk 1420, which, I'll tune into it now and then. And most of the time I'm listening to Will Cow and some other stuff. And until we all get on the air, then I'm going to tune into that when I'm driving. But on there, they had a podcast, and they were talking about relevant material in terms of history. And they were pretty spot on a lot of things between the clashes of different scientists and the Catholic Church and things like that. But it was so brutally bland. There was no personality behind the person who was simply, I think it seemed to me that they were just reading it off of a script the entire time. And
there's no passion to it, dude.
There's no passion.
That's why I try to impart to people when I talk about what we're about to do with this radio station. We can't give too many specifics, but at the end of the day, we have been charged with 1 million plus listenership of a talk radio station, Eastern Iowa, Western Illinois. Like I said, 1 million plus people, and we're about to stack it with a certain schedule and lineup that's never been heard before, dude. And it's not even. It's just I can't even. I don't want to say too much, but the lineup will be insane, dude. Each show will have its own huge following. A lot of these guys will be people who have been on our show, but we're really just trying to, like we do on the show here with the Conspiracy Farm, man, is try to challenge the larger narrative about what's socially acceptable as far as conversation, because
we want people from all different political spectrums and people with no political spectrum to start getting involved. I mean, that's the only way.
Honestly, in a larger perspective, dude, and you're absolutely right, dude. And as people hear this lineup in this particular region of the world, there's going to be a holy oh shit moment, man. Just because they will not have heard things like this before, because a lot of the radio they've been controlled by, and God love everybody's hustle, iHeartRadio, Clear Channel, et cetera, et cetera. They've been a very they've been very protectionist of their sponsors, et cetera, while compromising real conversation like what we do here on the farm, and et cetera, and a lot of the guys and gals that we're going to be having on this lineup. So, I mean, it's going to be.
Well, like I said, the way that during our phone call, was the way I equate this is I remember back in the day when I was debating politicians on TV just to try and keep the sport legal in the state that I was scheduled to fight in. So, imagine, a lot of these guys now that are training for fights, they're cutting weight. It's so tough, it's so brutal, whatever. Look, I was doing all of that. I was coaching at the same time. I was running a gym. I was debating politicians to keep the sport legal because I didn't even know I was training for a fight that I didn't even know was going to happen because it might get outlawed, right? So, there was a little bit of stress there, but everybody was against mixed martial arts. I mean, we were the black sheep of society. And it was one by one on plane flights. Literally, people would look at you and go, "Wow, how'd you get a black eye?" Well, let me tell you. And then you'd go through and you'd explain the sport to them, everything that went into it, the endurance training, the strength training, the technique, the different disciplines that went into it, and the dedication that went into it. And by the time you got off that plane, those people that listened to that conversation were huge fans of the sport. And thankfully, that early on the tough reality show came along and helped boost the sport and the Fertitas money and everything else. Finally, we had allies because people could make money off of it. Us doing
And
this,
that's a huge part of it. You cannot overlook that part. Unless you think they can make money off it, people oftentimes
well, but
they
here's the
shun
thing.
that stuff.
But here's the thing. Now, it's an even more colossal thing that we're doing, and it's certainly more historic to be able to get this type of material on mainstream terrestrial radio. It doesn't exist on mainstream terrestrial radio. Once
At
it
all.
hits, once it hits, and the people hear it, it's going to take off. It's going to catch like fire, and it's going to spread across the country. And people are not going to be able to stop it. The powers that be will not be able to stop it. And the only way they'll be able to stop it is to buy us out with a pile of money, and I'm okay with that. I'll go sit on
It
a
even
beach, and you can all fight amongst yourselves.
No, exactly, dude. That's what I mean. I mean, it's going to be very controversial. We've even had conversations with the radio station owner, kind of prognosticating, wow, when this format does flip, it is going to create a certain level of consternation for certain other radio listeners, and it'll be interesting how those other listeners, and I don't say this from a level of arrogance. It's like you just said, it's going to be something that's never been seen before. So it'll be interesting to see how these other platforms, other radio stations try to replicate what we do because we're the organic shit. Like, you know what I mean? The
Oh, we're not
road
going to
less
be
traveled. No, no,
we're
no. I'm
not going
saying
to be
the
politically
road, the
correct at
road.
all.
No, absolutely not. But the road less traveled is that way for an absolute fucking reason because, someone was talking to me the other day, like, what was the most controversial episode you did? And quite frankly, for me, as I thought about it, champ, interviewing the deputy director of counterintelligence for the FBI and asking him about government sponsorship of terror, that fucking took some balls on our part. You know what I mean? It's like we're not playing patty cake with anybody. We're actually asking real questions and
Right,
having real
right.
conversations and having real guests on to have these conversations that most stations just will not, they won't entertain this shit. But as we now know, and as many people have known, the books have been cooked, dude. So everyone's moving away from mainstream media. Everyone's moving towards alternative conversations, podcasts,
People want
et cetera, et cetera.
people simply look, and this is what I say is that I don't care who you are, if you're a far leaning left liberal. Look, if you're a nut job, you're a nut job. I get it. But everybody ultimately wants the truth, except those that are benefiting from the falsehoods, right? But the sheeple want the truth. They need the truth, and we're going to give them the truth.
Well, and as the narrative has played out, when we talk about, hey, I have the conspiracy farm. Oh, and they've literally, this has been weaponized. The term conspiracy has been weaponized, and don't sleep because it absolutely has. They fuse it in between. Oh, so you're an Alex Jones. You don't think Sandy Hook happened, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, dude, just listen to our show. Like I just said, we had the deputy director of counterintelligence for the FBI on. We've had former freaking Russian Spetsnaz, former Navy SEALs. I mean, that's just when it talks about our geopolitical thing. But when we talk
Right.
about, ancient civilizations, we've had scholars and authors on who are, best. I mean,
MIT scientists.
yes, yes,
Right.
dude. And that's almost what they're scared of because that larger narrative is once people start unlocking their shit, unlocking their brain, and start realizing the narrative is way larger than what they've been taught. Woo! Katie barred the door, dude.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's
Straight
going to be a
out,
lot of
dude.
fun.
Well, it already has been a lot of fun doing what we do. But once we get to the radio station and these guys, this lineup that we have shows coming from New York, from Los Angeles, from Texas. I mean,
From
yeah.
Ireland,
Ireland, hell's yeah. Next week,
boy,
actually. Gordon Rockford from the Conspiracy Guys. Next week from Dublin, Ireland, the year of our Lord 2019.
he's a
We're going to
genius.
be.
He's
He's
a
a,
he's a very bright guy. He's a very bright guy.
and they touch on way. I mean, honestly, they touch on a lot of different variety of subjects, man. It's
I
not
can't
always
remember
just
the name of the book that I can't remember the name of the book that I read about the 2008 collapse, but it was, literally not long after that. I don't know how the guy wrote it so fast, but it talked about, you know, us bundling, the people from here bundling and selling notes. It's they'll take a pool of notes for 5,000 houses or just massive amounts of properties
it's
and
crazy,
just
dude.
sell these loans. And they're like, yeah, the loans are good. Loans are good. Loans are solid. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. And so they would buy the loans, and then basically everything would go belly up. And Ireland took a huge, massive hit on all that. But I think it was not Scandinavia. Was it Iceland? I think Iceland prosecuted all the bankers and bailed out the citizens.
Iceland was one of the few countries that actually, yeah, and held their financial institutions accountable and
Right.
did not suffer as much during that 2008
No, they had
collapse. But yeah, dude.
they had a beautiful, colorful recovery.
Well, again, dude, I strongly suggest whoever's listening right now check out the interview we did, myself, Patrick J, James Corbett from the Corbett Report, as well as Ricky Varandas on climate change. This is a huge, huge, huge chess game, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you to listen to this episode with an open mind, please. So when you go into next week, the following week's episode with Gordon Rockford from the Conspiracy Guys, and we talk about Agenda 21, which it has already morphed into Agenda 30.
It's a
I
lot. It's a
really
lot. It's Agenda 21 is a lot more than bike paths and roundabouts, my friends. That's the friendly smiley face of Agenda 21 coming at you.
Kelly Ferinelli on the broadcast tonight. What's up, brother? Dude, me and Kelly Ferinelli, dude, as an Iowa boy, when I went out to California in 1987, I brought my skateboard and we used to skate. Skate or die. Kelly Ferinelli, what's up, brother?
All right.
But yeah,
So
dude, seriously, next week, yeah, not Kelly Fernelli, Gordon Rockford from the Conspiracy Guys. We're going to be chopping up on Agenda 21 and what they call Agenda 30 now, because there's obviously another
basically,
version of this.
the goal is all the people in the cities and corporate farming outside, controlling all the resources, and we are shit out of luck.
Well, and definitely, please, man, even if you disagree, everyone knows, and everyone's talking about this climate change conversation. Obviously, I mean, climate is changing. You know what I mean? But if you have to understand, we all have to understand the root of it, because if we don't understand the root of it, then our solution will be fucked up.
Right.
If we think it's
Right.
just CO2, then we're going to follow all these supposed people who know better than us to
It's
make
not
it say,
Agenda 21 is not a bunch of benign tree huggers that want to save the planet.
no, no. And none of them are. That's the whole point. The
Right.
Rockefellers, the people who started the oil industry, have divested, not invested, divested $4 something trillion into this next level of sustainable development, carbon credits, et cetera, et cetera. But you have to please just listen to our conversation of our last episode with, like I said, Ricky Varandas, James Corbett, Patrick, and myself on climate change,
Yeah,
because
go to conspiracyfarm.com. They can listen to the latest episode
It's
that's
not
on
up
the
yet. It's
website
not
there.
up yet. I haven't gotten it yet, and I'm still. And once I get it, I'm going to do a little bit of editing, but I will let
Okay.
everybody know. But
All right. All
please,
right.
yeah, no, in the next day or two, conspiracyforum.com. Check out episodes. It will be there very soon. It'll be about
Bleep
climate
out all
change,
your F
but
bombs.
I didn't miss some. That was like one, maybe. You dropped a couple. I mean, it was just. It's all right. It was a very. It was a great conversation.
Right.
But
Right.
please
So
listen
anyway,
to that, and then listen to the Agenda 21 next week with Gordon Rockford from the Conspiracy Guys. I'm sorry. What's up, champ?
no.
You got to go to
I'm
bed.
as Jeff pointed out, I'm getting ready to get hammered with a storm here that's coming my way.
And you're in what, Sue? Where you at?
Well, I'm in Bettendorf, Iowa, brother.
Oh, that's right. You haven't left yet. God damn. Sorry.
My back covered patio here.
Yeah, today it was pretty. Yeah, got hit with some pretty serious torrential rain. But what's up, Ryan Machete Mud? What's up, homeboy? Everybody has two in tonight. Tony Cavalli, Dwayne Stacy. Appreciate you guys. Kelly Fernelli,
Yeah, thanks
Jason
for listening,
Davis,
you guys.
Michael Payne, my cousin. Absolutely. Thank you guys for listening. www.theconspiracyforum.com, your one-stop shop for all the goodness of TCF, for archived episodes, incredible sponsors, little
Support the
insight on
sponsors.
Patrick. You
Hey,
must.
there's
You
Sonny.
must. Because
Sonny just showed up.
Sonny Puzikas, I guess we could say it. Hell, he's already green light. Sonny Puzikas, former Russian Spetsnaz, will also be on the network, the media network, the radio format that we have going with
Hosting his own show. That's going to be
his
very,
little
very
slice
good.
of
Very
life.
good. Very good stuff.
Ricky Verandis, who recorded our last episode with James Corbett, I will be sending you the link in the next couple of minutes. This guy, Ricky Verandis, awesome. Like, he's really the reason why I got linked up with Sam Tripoli. I love Sam Tripoli. How we got linked up with James Corbett. That's what I'm saying. When the tribes get together, baby, divide and conquer cannot work unless we let that shit to work, dude. We've created magic with some of the tribes we've gotten together, brother.
Strength in numbers. Strength in numbers.
Yes, united we stand.
Absolutely. They've got the money, but we've got the weapons.
And we have the information, dude, and we got
Yeah.
the info. We
That's
ain't
what I
Alex
mean.
Jones. Yeah.
All right, buddy. I'm going to get in before the storm hits me.
All right, homeboy. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been another little Facebook Live episode. Patrick, myself, he's about to get hit with storms. I just got hit. He's probably going to be getting hit with storms that I was hit with about an hour and a half, 2 hours ago, because we are Midwest located. So peace and love,
north.
dude. Stay safe, my homeboy. And I will see you soon.
We love colluding with Sonny Puzikas.
Oh my God. Okay. We got to talk about that off the air. How there is some legitimate Russian collusion going on.
Right here, buddy. Right here with
Sonny
Sonny.
Puzikas. Love you, brother. Love you, my man. Blake Hammond, love you too. Stay safe, Pat.
All right, buddy. Take care, guys.
See ya.